Welcome back to my channel. This is Sue from ems.nails and beauty. What I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be doing a pigment art, and it's just a little quick one. It's with some spider gel. Now I've got to admit, this is the first time I've ever used spider gel. So first off, most important, gloves. Gloves are the most important part of this because it is so messy, so sticky, and what you will need for your clients is a barrier to go around their skin. Right, so I've got my little dotting tool, I've got a brush so I can pat on the colours. So I'm going to move these out of the way, and then I've got a couple of glitters, and then the most important things are your spider gel. So you can either use the black, the white, the silver, whatever colour you want, so it's going to depend on your design. And then for this set I'm using the base coat, which is really important, a velvet matte top coat because I want some in matte, and then the armour top coat to finish. Right, so what I'm going to do is I've got a white tip and I'm going to be putting the base coat. So what I'm going to do for eases of just running the video is I'm going to set up all of my tips, so they're all going to have on there. I can't see, I've got a different setup again on my camera. I will find a way one day. So I'm going to go in with the base coat. Now when you're doing this on your clients, you put this over a white paint, so that will be white, the white gel paint from Jellyfish and Blanco. Right, so for speed I'm just going to cure that for it's 60 seconds in there, and then I'm just literally going to go in and do the rest. So I'm lucky because I have got the two lamps. I can just throw these, because you would only literally do, this is one nail at a time job. Because of the pigments, you would not be base coating all of your clients' nails. So you'd either do it as a single nail or just do a couple of nails, but you do these individually. So it looks like I'm doing it all cack-handed because I've got gloves on. I can't actually work in gloves. They make everything all ugh. So make sure that the whole tip is covered, because when you come to apply the pigments, they won't stick if there's no base coat there. It's the same when you've got chromes. You've got to make sure that your top coat is everywhere on that. Right, I've got one more. Oh, knock the spider gel everywhere. That's a good way to start, isn't it? So these are just going to go into my second lamp, and they will stay there away from all the mess. You will see all the messes were going on. This is not a clean process in any way, shape or form. So they're in for 60. Right, and I'm gonna, because you know me by now, everything goes everywhere. So on this first one, I think I'm going to use these ones. Now these all come all stacked, so like when you open the top one, that's your first one, and then when you open it, that's sort of like the lid of the second one underneath. So it's all a bit of a pain in the bum, this, the way these are. You can get them as individuals. I just got these randomly a long time ago. So I keep these little lids on and just use from underneath, because it saves it going everywhere, because you only have to sneeze or breathe on these and they literally just go everywhere. So as you can see, I'm opening them and I'm putting them as far away from me as I possibly can. So these would go to, if you're right-handed, to the right of you, if you're left-handed, to the left of you. Right, so I've got them all in shot. I think so. So there's no rhyme or reason to these nails. You're just ombreing. You're just ombreing colours. Right, so there we go, throw everything all over the place. So there's my top lid. So I think for this one, I will go in with the purple, and then I think I'll do purple, green and yellow. So you don't need a lot. So you just tap it on and then you just tap it in. Now you make sure that the darker of your colour is at the cuticle. So I may have to undo these a bit, but we'll see. So the darker colour at the top, and depending on the length of the nail is how far you come down. So you just sweep this down to cause your ombre. So is that all in shot? Yeah. So you'd sweep it down to create your ombre, but I need to come a little bit further down, obviously, because of the length of these tips that I've picked out. Right, so that will do. Don't be tempted to give them a blow. One, it's not very hygienic blowing all over your clients anyway, but two, it's not great for these little pots. Right, now let me just undo this a little bit more. Oh, see, this is what happens with powders. Anyway, we shall continue on. So just be careful with your powders. Right, so the green I want sort of predominantly more down here, and then I'll tap it up. And they are only feather-light taps into the next colour, making sure that you ombre up into your purple. So feather-light movements, feather-light touch, and then ombre down. Now obviously, because I had flecks of purple that had come down, they've gone in there. So that's going to annoy me, but there's not a lot I can do about it right now. So here we go with the yellow. Let's see what catastrophe I can have with this one. So I do have little holes where I've punctured them. Right, let's just completely take that off for the sake of this video for now. So clean off your brush and then come in with your yellow. Right, you don't need that much. Right, so you want the predominant of your colour at the tip. So you want that the darkest, and then ombre it up. So come back in and then gently pull it up. Right, and because I've got that sweep of purple, and now I'm going over with the yellow because I haven't cleaned the brush. See, you can tell I've not done this before, but hey ho, thought I'd pop up and just let you know, see it. Right, I'm going to go back in with the purple, and I'm going to try and move these out of the way. I'm going to go and try and correct the mistakes I've made. So patting and pressing and just gently swooshing down. Right, so I'm going to swoosh that. Can you see how much dust you get off these? Right, so hold on. Quick blow. Had to be done. Had to be done. Back in with the green, and I want the predominant colour in here. So let me just balance that out a little bit by putting my finger underneath it. See if I can cover most of that purple. Don't think I'm going to be that successful on covering that. Right, so gently feather that up and then feather that down. And you can see literally how much mess this is going to make. So that's why you have the gloves on. And then back in with a little bit of the yellow at the bottom, just to try and make that a little bit more prominent in colour. So I hope all that is in shot. and then swoosh that up. Right, so let me give that a blow. Right, so I've still got this purple in here, as you can see. And that's seriously going to wreck my head. So anything you do that is like that and you've sort of completely, it's not what you want. This is where glitters come in brilliantly. So I'm cleaning off that brush as much as I can to try and get it back to its neutral. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lightly make sure all that pigment is off. And then you go in with a base coat. And you're going to float this base coat over, because you don't want to be pulling those pigments down. So this is how I float it over. I get quite a bit on my brush, and then I just gently bring it down. So as long as you've got all of that pigment off, then you're going to be fine. So this will go in once again for a 30-second cure. And then while that's still tacky, then I'm going to sprinkle in, no, it's a 60-second cure on the base coat from Jellyfish. While it's still tacky, I'm going to put in, just sprinkle in a couple of glitters. Now, whatever glitters you choose, it's neither here or there. They could be purples, reds, it doesn't really matter. It's just your choice at the end of the day. So I'm just going to clean off my little dotting tool, because my dotting tool's for my spider gel. I don't particularly want that covered, and I'm going to give my brush a further clean just off camera. What I would say is, if this bit, I'd put that on a separate tissue away from your client, so your work area where your client is stays clean. So you can see how this just absolutely goes everywhere and it sticks to everything. So that's why I've got the paper towel down. So on this one, because that is quite a big chunk of mistake, right? So pop that down there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick up some glitter and sprinkle some glitter all over there, and then just tap that into the base coat. And as you can see, that's now starting to cover up that purple mistake. So you can put on as much or as little as you want. Is that all in shot? As much or as little as you want of that, and then just pat that down onto the nail. All right, let's just close that up, because as you see, I've made a mess before I even started, really. It's a running theme with me. I either spill something or I just spill and knock over. Right, so over this, we're going to float our top coat, and that's purely because we don't want to contaminate our top coats with the, oh god, glitter that we've just put on. So make sure that's all covered. Wipe off any excesses and make sure that you've capped them edges in. Right, so as you can see, there is absolutely nothing on my brush, and that's what you want. You don't want to contaminate your top coats. If you do manage to contaminate one, just put it to the side and just put a mark on it. Like I've done this with an old one and I've put a mark on it, and that's a contaminated brush. So this is just an empty gel, and that's just where I store my brush so it doesn't go hard. And that was my very first Armour top coat bottle I bought couple of years ago. I finally used it all. So keep that to one side, and that brush I can clean and it stays uncontaminated and it doesn't let me contaminate anything else. Right, spider gel. This is where the fun now begins. Not. So to do your spider gel, you're going to need it as close to your client's finger as possible. And you can see the viscosity and how stretchy it is. So you only need to literally touch the top to be able to pull that out. If you go too deep, you're going to pull a thick blob out, and that's not going to look pretty. Right, so there is no rhyme or reason, there's no right way, there's no wrong way of the design you do. It's just personal to you. So just make contact, and if you pick up and it's too thick, just pull it up further. Make contact with the finger, well, the nail, and you can bring that pattern down. Right, and you can see that that's still attached, so I'm going to go back in and I'm going to stretch that out. And I'm just going to do that pattern again because I quite like that. Oh, you can see where there's a blob there. Right, and I'm really going to stretch this out. No, that's not going to stretch out far enough. So you can see it's still attached into the bowl. Oh, spider gel. Ugh, goes everywhere. Oh, finger's gone in it now. Oh, dear me. See, this is why you wear gloves, and this is why you protect your clients, because this stuff is worse than chewing gum. It's worse than tar. Ugh, it's just gross. But it's absolutely fantastic if you can't draw straight lines and you just want that little bit of decorative art. Right, let me just see if I can get that to stick back to itself. Right, there you go. Oh, see this? Oh no, did you see what I did? Did you see what I did? Right, oh no. Oh, thank God I had a top on that. And thank God I had a top on that. That's why I do not take the tops off. Oh, right, I'm going to try again. Right, am I in shot with this thing? I'm going to move it over here a little bit. Right, so I'm going to come in a different direction now, just to give it a little bit more pattern. And I've picked up too much again. So I'm going to stretch that out, place it back down. And then I'm going to come up the nail, make contact with the nail, pull it back down, and then pull up that string. So now you can see you're getting more lines. Now you'll see on videos where they're wrapping it around the client's finger, there is absolutely no need. As long as you make contact with the nail at some point, there is no need to make more mess. Right, so I think that will do for this one. So that's that one, and that's going to cure for 60 seconds in my lamp. Now you can get these that are non-tacky, or you can get them that are tacky. Let me move that. Oh dear Lord. Right, so I'm just going to clean off my dotting tool, and you're best doing this with a lint-free pad, otherwise you're going to end up with a whole heap of trouble on your hands, because cotton is just going to stick to it like I don't know what. Right, so let me just get that, and let me just get some cleanse, and it's simple, just going to wipe that off and keep your tools clean. Well, yeah, but definitely keep your tools clean. Right, So I'm going to put the lid back on my cleanse. I'm going to move that completely out of my way. Right, so the first one that's done, see, and this one is a non-tacky, so that is finished. Now it is raised off of the nail, so if you've got clients that pick, if you put a top coat over that, that will just smudge them lines down a little bit. But if you have got pickers, then that's the best option, is to put a little bit of top coat over the top of it. Right, I'm going to come in with another nail. So this is the one that I've top coated already, and I think I will do, oh, see, nerves are kicking in because I'm going to have to take that lid off of there, and you've just seen what happened. Oh dear, oh good God. And you've just seen how I've just knocked the whole lot all over the place, so I'm not happy taking these off, but hey ho. Hey de ho de ho. Right, so this is obviously a deeper pink than that pink, so on this one I think I will go dark pink, light pink, and I think I'll go orange and see how that goes. So in at the top to make the darker colour right at the cuticle. I should have picked shorter tips, really should have picked shorter tips, but hey ho, it's done now. Right, I'm just going to brush my brush off so I'm not hopefully making the same mistake I made before, which was flicking the purple everywhere. And I'm just going to dust that off because I don't particularly want that everywhere. Then I'm going into what I'm hoping is a lighter pink. Yes. Right, so I want the body of the colour here, and then I want to bring it up to ombre. Let's balance that out. It's popping around everywhere. You see it a little bit better now. Right, so I'm going to take that off my brush, and I'm going to gently flick that up, just gentle, and gently bring that down. So you can see how gently it's hardly moving now. But that's what I want. Don't want them moving. I'm going to come in with an orange at the free edge and make sure that that's got most of the colour on, and then work it up. And if you can see the orange container there, you can see I've got green already speckled into it. So yeah, messy, messy, messy. But in fairness, I'm doing this backwards because this is where my client would be. So all these would be over here and not where they are for you guys to see them. So gently just flick that up. And I'm going to take that colour off of there. And I'm going to give that a blow, just so that orange doesn't stick. Right. So I'm going to go back in with this deeper pink. I'm just going to pat and press this in and bring this down. So those little bits that are on there, right? And then I'm going to take them back up because I don't want them ruining this pattern. In with the lighter pink. So old makeup brushes are brilliant for this. You don't need anything. You don't need ombre brushes or anything like that. You just need something that old that can be cleaned and cleaned and cleaned. So a little swoosh up. So those bits of powder there, just tap off of your client's nail. And a little swoosh down. And any loose powder, just tap it off before you completely contaminate your nail. Right, and let's put that in there. Right, so once you're happy with everything, make sure your brush is completely clean. And give this a little wipe. Make sure all of that, oh, I've got spider gel up my arm. So make sure all of your pigments are now got no bits on. Right, so this one I'm going to matte top coat. Right, so you do this prior, obviously. So once again, float it over. So you do it prior to putting your spider gel on. Right, so as long as you've got all those pigments off, then you're not going to have any problems. Now, a good little tip, you see there's no pigment on there at all. So straight back into the bottle. So a good little tip, if you're wanting the perfect light line straight down the centre of your finger, get your client to turn their hand upside down so that gravity will pull that gel back down. Right, and once you've done that, then that'll go in for its 60-second cure. So what that's going to do when you're taking your pictures, you're going to have a perfect line right down the centre of your nail. So it's just going to look a little bit more professional than it being flat. So because I've put the matte on here, what I think I'll do is put this little bit of white. It's like a white with a hollow in it. So you would not matte a hollow. It's sort of criminal to do that. Now let me just get a drink. Keep ourselves hydrated, that's the most important thing. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to sprinkle it over and tap it in. Oh no, I can't, because that is set. Yeah, can't do that because that's set. Yeah, so we're not doing that. So I'm going to put that to one side. I'm going to put the lid back on it and fasten it. I should have thought, no, you sprinkle it on while your thing's wet. Oh, right, now we're going to have to get, look at the state of this. This was brand new. Look at that. Right, I'm going to have to get a little lint-free pad just to get that to stick on there, because then it's like, oh, gee, look. Another thing you can do, right, if this was your last nail, another thing you can do is this. So those lines would just get thinner and thinner towards the end of the nail. Yeah, so that's all gone. And I think what I will do, because that's still, I quite like that, but I am going to have to get a different glove. So, a different set of gloves. But what I will do whilst that is wet is I'm going to get that, right, let me try and move that without it sticking to me. No, go away. Go away. Right, so whilst that is still wet, good job of having silly long fingernails at the moment, is just shake some of that on. Doesn't have to go everywhere. Does have to come from underneath my nail though. Right, so that's that one. So now it's got a little bit of sparkle on it. So in there for 60 seconds. Right, excuse me while I go and get some more gloves, because my gloves are stored the other side of the room from where I'm working. I didn't expect to do that design, so that was just, oh sorry, stood on you. That was just sheer dumb luck that design happened. But the best thing about these is there's no rhyme or reason. There's no right or wrong. Right, so on this next one, I'm hoping to go for, see, I wish, oh, have I got a blue? Let me have a look. Do I have a blue? I do have a blue, but it's not in a neon. So I'm not going to use it. So this is the set of blues, but it would have been nice if I had a neon blue. But I haven't. I'll have to work with what I've got. So this is that one. So once again, that's going to have a textured finish. So if your clients are pickers, you'll just have to top coat that, but you are going to either lose the matte behind it or you're going to matte down the spider gel. So think about your designs and what you want them to look like at the end for your clients. So you have to take all that into consideration, and that's by doing your consultation or finding out what they want at that time. Right, so on this one, clean brush, I think I will go pink, orange, green, yellow. So we're going to go for the 4 blend. So into the top, right into the cuticle area, and build that opaqueness up. So build that colour up and then start to bring it down. Now I don't have to bring these down as far with going for the 4 colours. Right, so I'm going to wipe that off of my brush and see if I can tap that off. Right, so I was going to go pink and then I was going to go orange. So orange down here and then work it up. So it's easier on your client's hand because they're not going to bounce around as much. And I'm going to take that off and then I'm just going to gently flicker that up. I'm going to ombre that up, ombre that down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just take off the excess. Right, and then we're going to go in with our green once again down here and then ombre it up. So I'm not going to ombre it down because of the yellow, but I'm going to ombre it up. And then tap off of there and just make sure you've got it in. All right, clean off the brush and in with the pop of yellow at the bottom. Now, what you've got to remember is when you're doing this, wherever's already got powder attached, you're not going to attach another powder, but what you can do is contaminate the powders by swooshing too far over. See, like that, the orange, there must have been too much orange on there, right? So this is why you've got to be careful with how much you're going in with. I can't remember which one I did, so I'm going to go with this one. Right, so you just go in, build up that colour again and bring it down. So always make sure that these fine powders have all gone before you start moving them around, because they're so messy. They are so messy. It is not just me. If you look all over the internet, you will find that these are messy, messy, messy. Right, I can see where I've blopped in with some pink in there and I don't want it, so I'm coming in with a little bit more orange. Knock that off before I come in back with that green, because I can see some pink in there. And then just because they've all got double coats, coming back in with the yellow. So just be careful because you can actually inhale this powder. So make sure that you and your client aren't working so close to one another. So let me bring that little, where am I? I can't see where I am. Right, so I'm just going to blow that off and get me little horsey brush. Right, so as you can see, once again, I've contaminated here. Right, but what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to go back in with the Velvet Matte Top Coat. And whilst it's wet, I'm just going to sprinkle some of that white glitter that I've got. Oh, Alexa, go off. You're not meant to be on. Right, so I have to be careful doing this now, because obviously I've got my gloves on. So I'm going to come in with a little bit of this white. And what you can do, if you want, you can get your cuticle pusher. I'll just go find that. Where's it gone? There it is. Oh, right. Get your cuticle pusher and just dribble this over. You can use brushes or whatever takes your fancy. So yes, we would normally not put glitters inside of a matte top coat, but I want to hide the mistakes, and if I don't say I've made a mistake, then the client is not going to know no different. So clean off that spatula, well, the cuticle pusher, get rid of that. Right, and that's still curing over there. So let's pull out another one. Right, and you can just do a 2-tone, you can do a 3-tone, you can do a 4-tone. I wouldn't go more than 4, because that's just taking it too far. So I'm going to go with oh, purple. Let's see if we can try and keep the same theme-ish going on. So I did the purple with the greens and the yellow last time. So I'm going to go purple, pink and orange. So you can see how much of that powder is actually sitting on there. So I'm just going to wipe some of that off. I'm going to bring that down. So you can see how far that's spreading itself. It can actually come all the way down, and then you could just put your spider gel over that. See, that's how far a little bit spreads. Whole nail, a tiny little bit. So because that's already on there, I'm not going to be able to stick any of these colours to it, because these will just wipe off. See, I'll just wipe off. Right, so if you give me a second, I'll pull out, and let me pull out the one I've just done. So this is this one so far, you see. So I'm just going to put some spider gel over that before I rectify my mistake on that. And this is where we all learn, because we all make mistakes. Oh, it stuck to me again. Oh God, this is going to be the bane of my life, this stuff, isn't it? Right, is that in shot? Yes. And as you can see, I've got green in there. So I'm going to go pick up, I want to pick up quite a thickish line on this one. And I want to lay that down. And then I want to stretch that back up. I'm going to pick up the rest of that thick line, because the thin lines will lay in between. I'm going to pick up that thick line again. So get that to lie on top of that. I'm going to stretch that out. And then I'm going to pull that all the way up to the top. And then I'm going to pull that all the way back down to the bottom. Now it's still attached down here. So what I'm going to do is pull that over up there. And now it's attached to my glove. So start now on this side. So if you've still got stringies attached from the nail and from your pot, use that, because then you can stretch them right out and you get really fine line work. Or you can give it little curls, do anything you want to it. As long as you go backwards and forwards, make contact with that nail. And I'm going to try and bring that all the way down to the tip. Then I'm going to wind that up just to snap it, or try to. Right, so I'll clear that in a second. So can you see that? So I've gone from thick to very thin. So there's no right and no wrong. Well, there is a wrong. You don't want really thick lines unless you are going for doing an art detail of having straight lines. We don't want otherwise to have a thick line, because otherwise it'll stand up too far off of the nail. Right, so this one that I completely messed up, I'm just going to see if there's a way to rectify that without having to throw the whole thing away and start again. So all I've done is I've just got some prep and scrub, and there you go. Take off your mistake like it never happened. Right, but what you are going to have to do is you are going to have to base coat that again, of which I shall do in a tick. Right, so that's that one for you. And what you can go and do is you can go and add on crystals. Let me just base coat this. You can go and add on crystals and all sorts of things to get these to finish off in some absolutely gorgeous ways. So I'm just going to put some base coat on this, and I'm going to go and cure that whilst I'm trying to concoct the nail I was starting to do. So we can see that a tiny little bit of this goes a very long way. So make sure my brush is clean. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of that purple, and I'm going to dab it a little bit harder into. So it is all trial and error, and you're our best trialing before you error. And I'm going to ombre that down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flick that dust off of that nail. Right, so what colours did it say I was going to do with this? So I can't remember now. Oh, I'm just going to wing it, because there is no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong way of doing it at all. As in colour, as long as your colours go, unless your client's really outlandish. Right, gently flick that down. Wipe off brush, gently flick that up. So as you can see, I'm using the gentlest of movements now. And this is why you practice before you start doing this on your clients. I wanted a little bit of green in here. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to work up over that orange, because that's quite a bit of orange. Oh, that'll ombre itself in. So tap and press, and brush off. Right, and gently flick up and gently bring down. I'm going to leave that at that point, and then I'm going to go in with my yellow right at the free edge, and bring it up the green. Now if you wanted, I suppose, you know, you could tap some of the yellow in down here. You know, you can do whatever you want, whatever design comes to your mind. There's no rhyme or reason with this stuff. I'm just going to bring that little bit of yellow round up there, that little bit of yellow dust. So I've sort of put a yellow hue around it. I'm going to leave it there because you know it's all just going to go absolutely bonkers otherwise. Brush off all of the excess powder. Right, and we're going to make this a what am I going to do on this one? Let's have a look. We've got a couple of glitters, so I'll just do this one with the armour top coat. Oh, and there's my other tip ready to go. I don't know what I'm going to do with that one. Not right this second anyway. So float it over and gently swoosh it down. So I think what I will do, I think I'll put some, because you see the way they've sort of banded, they haven't ombre'd together very, very well. So here comes the therapist's or the nail text. I'm not saying anything. I didn't do anything wrong. This is how it's meant to be. It is all within the plan. So just come across and sprinkle. Magic hide the mistake glitter. And that will draw the eye away from any underlining mistakes, just in case another nail tech gets to see the nail. Not that that's likely to happen, but you never know in today's climate. So that's hidden that a little bit better. So 60-second cure in there. Right, so I want one without glitters, and I want to try and get one. Let's have a look. What have we got so far? So far, this is the first one we did. Oops, I'm going to drop it. There that one goes. So that one's got a glitter in, and that's on a shiny top coat. Then that was the one when it was all stuck to my hand, that's on a matte top coat with some glitter in. Pick this one off the floor. What have we got? Yep, we've got more glitter in that one, so glitter's definitely a theme. Right, so I've got one more to do. So I've done purples, greens, yellows, a dark pink, orange, pink, orange, green, yellow. The one that's in now is purple, orange, green and yellow. So, oh, let's see where the imagination takes us. But you do want to have sort of a little bit of a concise pattern or theme going on, unless your client's a little bit loopy, like one of mine, and they just like it to be all unusual. Right, so this one, on your client, this one would be going from their cuticle down to the tip, but because my tips are all on sticks, I'm going to have to do this a different way. So I'm going to bring this up. I'm coming right up the center with a very thin and attaching it, pulling it down, pull up the second string, and then this is where you can go absolutely nuts. So I'm making them a little bit thicker as I'm coming up to, coming up to the cuticle area. So I'm just going to turn this. You can turn your client's hands. Don't be afraid ever to do that, because I don't want it too thick. And as you can see, it's still attached here. So I'm just going to come back down here and make sure I've got contact. So you can just do that, where you can just get hold of your strings and then you'll make little thin lines to come right down and go back up. You just keep stretching this out and it just gets thinner and thinner, and then it breaks off, and then you just got to break it off from the nail, and there you go. So by the time you're sort of getting onto the fourth nail, you're getting better at it. You're getting thinner lines, you're getting more concise patterning to what you're after. It stuck to me again. Oh, darn stuff. Right, let me see if I can just clean this pot, because that's not going to help when I come to put it all away. And I would normally do this at the end of doing one of the videos, but this is seriously doing me head in. Right, now we did the, let's see what patterns we've got going on, because I've got one more nail to do. So we've got a squiggly, an over, so that's our squiggly, that's our over, that's our, take a diamond. You can do all sorts with these. You can get so clever. There's some brilliant people on YouTube that you can watch that have got these down pat. They've been using them for ages, so they've got it really clever. So that's another up, down and side. So let's see. Right, what colours should we do for our last one? I think I'm going to go backwards and go yellow, green. Let's have a look. Yeah, because I've got purple, green and yellow on one. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this is the 5. So this would be the set. So pattern in there. And then I'm just going to brush that dust. Oh, slightly off, sorry. Just going to brush those dusts down because we're going into darker colours. Right, not too far down because you know that this covers the whole entire nail. Right, so I want the green to be darker here because that's going to come into the purple. And then we're just going to tap, tap, tap and bring that up. Tap off the dust, preferably not over the rest of your pots, and then bring that down. And then we're going to go in with the purple at the bottom. Have I picked up enough of that? Because I don't want to open that purple because that's so pigmented. Well, they all are, but I just don't want to drop it. I'm just trying to scrape it off. Right, and come up with that into the green. Right, get rid of that dust, because after a little while the dust just turns into black, and that's not what you're after. So I'm going to leave that as that, and we shall make this another mat, but instead of putting the oh, we're gonna have to have we got crystals on every one of them? Yeah, we're gonna have to do a few crystals on it. Oops, wipe off with the horse. Make sure none of that dust and powder is anywhere near your top and base coats. Right, so I'm going to mat this one. Right, and I'm going to sprinkle some. I don't have to sprinkle anything in it, to be perfectly honest, but because I've done the rest, let's have a look. The rest have all got sprinkles in, so I sort of feel obliged to keep a conciseness, and I think I'll go for the the last little bit of this one that I've got. Right, so get my little picker-upper and just sprinkle that all over. Not hiding anything this time, it's just purely because the rest of the set has got it in. Right, just tap that in. Now this is wet, so you're going to come across sticky. Okay, so just tap that in, because if your client doesn't like the roughness, that would stay rough, and just by tapping it, and because it's on the last nail, it's really not going to matter. Right, now let's get this lot all cleared up. So orange away. And I have problems doing this as well. Orange went into purple because you can see the underneaths, which way they've gone. So what did the purple go into? It went into the light pink. So I'm going to put the cover back on that. I think it went into the light pink. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Then I'm going to put the cover back on that one. And let's put the cover back on the yellow. You can see there's loads and loads of pigment stuck to these lids. So it's not a clean job in any way, shape or form. So try not to flick the colours to your client's direction, because I don't think they're going to be happy if they're wearing black and they go home with neon colours attached to them. Right, so pop them over there. I bring out the last nail. Right, so that's it with the matte top coat and a little bit of the sparkle pressed into it. Right, for the last, oh Jesus, crying out loud. See, thought I was doing so well. No. For the last time. Look at the state of the inside of that. Look at that. Oh. Can't be trusted. Can't be trusted. Right, so for the last time in this video, oh, what I'm going to do is pull it up. So just pull the nail further away, and I'm going to go side to side on this one. So as you can see, it's sort of breaking as I was getting over because I'd stretched it so thin. So it's not square side to side like the one I did with my fingers. So because I don't want this, I didn't want that bit to touch, I pulled it away from the nail a little bit. So now I'm just going to have to work with it. And this is where you get those absolutely lovely individual designs from. So as long as you have covered the whole of the nail, so bring that up. As long as you've covered the whole of the nail in your spider gel that you want on it, then you really can't do wrong. You can overdo it, I will say that. You can overdo it to it, it just becomes spider gel. Right, and then try and break that off. So that's that one. Where is it? There it is. Do. Right, and that one goes in there for 60 seconds whilst I try and clean this off. Right, so in, off, and you can still see it stuck. You see it stuck? I'll give it a, oh, go away. So sticky. Ugh. Right, so I'm going to pop all of these away. I've got more colour in this than I have anything else, but hey ho. Right, I was going to do an luminous set, but I'll do them in another video, purely because I haven't figured out what background I'm going to do on it. And spider gel comes in that many different colours, and as you've just seen, I've got luminous ones there. Then you've got such an array of ability to do. So I'm just tidying up all my brushes and popping them away before. Right, let's get rid of these. And it's easier to keep tidying away even when your client's here. So when you come to do your photographs, you haven't got all of this mess sitting in front of you, and he hands it in safely. Safely in the lamps. Right, so move all that. Right, let's get all that out of the way. Oh, Jesus. Oh, can you see what I've done? Can you see? Yeah. Be ever so careful with these girls, really. Or just don't start playing with them. Oh, got it everywhere. Now I've got to do my order of what I wanted them in. Right. So a little bit of cleanse on my tissue in a moment. I'll get rid of all of that on my lamp before I cry. Right, so gloves off. The gloves are off, the fight is on. Right, so we have our pink, so pop that there. Let me see. I can't see. Oh. Oh. That's because I'm all shaky. So I want me to. I want that that end. And then it doesn't matter which way they go in. So don't want that there because that follows that. That's the last mat, so I want that there. So that, can you all see that? That's my set. So I hope you've enjoyed this little little video, little bit of information of how not to play with neons, and enjoy playing with spider gel. Get to know how to use it, but get to know what your clients want as well, because if they don't want them all sticking up and being that texture, then you're going to have a few problems with this set. The gel will just flatten out if you're putting a top coat on this regardless. There's nothing you can do about that. That's just the design of spider gel, I'm afraid. So anyway, thank you very much. Please hit that like, subscribe and the bell button, and anything I've got to come up, you'll get to hear about. So thank you for bearing with me. Sorry it was over an hour long, but hey, that's how long it took. Thanks a lot. Take care till the next one.